Yeah, and I was going to ask about that because, like, I mean, going into your catalog, it's a lot of Matt Hillyer and just Matt Hillyer. That's all there is on the song. So I love chatting with songwriters because everybody's different. They're from A to B and all the way to Z is different. Their process for getting there is different. So for you, like, is it more melodic based first? Is it lyrically based? Are you like coming up with a song title and then creating a story around it? Like, if these old bones could talk, like you see the dominoes and then you create this backstory for them, or is it like all of the above?
It's kind of all of the above. I mean, if I'm telling the truth, the chord progression, either the chord progression or the words will come first. I'm not really great at writing around a title, which I've been able to do it
Mm-hmm.
plenty of times, but it's not typically where I start. Um, so, but it would be it's always a great idea, because you get right down to the heart of what the song is about. If you can do that, it's a really good thing to do. But I don't always do that. So usually, like, the melody, the chord progression will sort of come first, and then once you sort of think about what you're trying to say, where you're trying to go with it, then the first line is very important to me because it's got to be something that it's just like any good. It's like the best. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Right.
Something that grabs the reader or the listener.
Something that's hooky.
Yeah, right off the bat, that sort of gets your interest and it makes you go, huh? Like, and then you get into it from there. But there's no really one way specifically
Yeah.
that it has to happen, because
Do you
there's
find
times when
yourself? Do you find yourself like going through life, like listening for hooks, writing hooks down, like
oh, of
keeping a
course.
notebook of hooks and all that?
Of course, yeah. In the last 4 years, I'm not. I don't carry around a notebook as much as I should. I've been doing. I've been in this songwriters group for the last almost 4 years at this point, and we write a song every week, which is a lot more songs than I've ever had in the songbook finished than ever in my life, and that's a big deal because it's still a good idea to keep a pen and a pad by the bedside in case you get that idea when you're in between sleep and awake.
That happens a lot, doesn't it, for
It
songwriters?
does, it does. But I haven't been doing that as much because I know that I'm at some point in the week I have to write and submit a finished song.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout historically, I'll come up with something that I think is good. I'll scribble it down. It's because I don't want to lose it. But the reality of it is, if it's that good, you should get up and work on it, even if you have to pull yourself out of a sleep and finish it. Because you're going to look at it. If it's just a couple of lines you don't want to lose, you're probably going to look at it the next day and you're going to go, this is garbage. You know what I mean? You're not going to do anything with it, like, but it's been better in the sense that I've learned that the importance of actually finishing it and making a little work tape immediately so you don't lose it, because you
Yeah.
can change anything, you can change and edit anything you want forever. Really, they're kind of living, breathing things. Uh,
Do you find yourself like? Is it hard for you to get back into that headspace wherever you were when you first wrote it down?
uh, yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
It can, but that's why I really try to, like, get at least far enough into it to where it is a concrete idea,
Yeah.
and record that, because if you just relying on remembering it in your head, you're not going to.
Right.
You might get lucky, but probably you're not. And even if you remember the words, even if you write the words down, then you can't hear inside your head the way that you wanted it to be done. Just record something immediately before you use it. It's going to be better.
Yeah, and songwriting is about feel too, right? So like you have to be able to get back into that feeling wherever you were when you wrote it down too. And I can't imagine that's easy.
I mean, here's the thing. No, it's not. Like, just like anything that you want if you want to do something well, then it's probably going to be a little bit difficult. But what I try to remind myself, because I've told all kinds of people that I really want to get into this songwriters group, I'm like, man, trust me, just we limit the amount of people who are in it. But it's like, man, trust me, that seems like a lot of pressure. It really takes the pressure off, because what people get afraid of when I talk about it is they're like, because everybody gets to hear their song, and people are get afraid of like being able to produce a song every week. That's not the problem. You're afraid of writing a bad song,
Yep.
and newsflash, you're going to.
Yep.
You're gonna write some bad songs, but the truth of the matter is, the people that I'm talking about have been doing this for years and years and years. They know what they're doing. You know, if you give yourself a little bit of credit and say, "Hey, I've written a lot of songs, and I know when it sucks," and you just do it because even if you're the best in the world, you're still going to come up with something at some point in time that's not as good as some other great thing that you might have done.
It's like being a
So
baseball player, man. Three
it's
out.
a
If you're successful 3 out of 10 times, then you're a badass baseball player. It's the same thing with
it's a
songwriting.
discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a discipline. That's what it is. And the way that I used to do it, and there's no right or wrong between the two. Is just that we'd be on the road a whole lot throughout the year, and it would come time for us to go back in the studio, and then I would feel like I needed to run off into the woods or something and just like write 10 songs or however many songs I needed. And that's not necessarily the right way to do it. Yeah, like, because now if I was to want to go and make a record, another record, which I probably will at some point, but I got more songs than I know what to do with, which is a good problem to have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if you're, if you just think you're going to have this lightning bolt of great creativity all at once to just hammer out 8 songs in a weekend, maybe you will, but I don't know.
Yeah. That's not the norm, right?
No, it's a little like going to the gym, I guess. I don't,
Yeah.
which is not something. I'd rather write a song than go to the gym.
Absolutely. You'd rather do anything than go to the gym. Come on.
Right.
Oh
So,
man, I know one of the struggles of songwriters is kind of the what I call storytelling versus marketability or commerciability. When you're kind of an indie writer, you can kind of get away with being who you are, being kind of grasping that freedom and being able to tell your story, regardless of a label telling you whether it's sellable or not. Have you struggled with that over the course of your career, like writing a story versus just trying to be marketable?
I mean, I don't know about marketability, but I do know that I'm not a great storyteller when it comes to it. Like I've written some stories type songs that I've been relatively proud of, but typically when I sit down to tell a story, it's a hard thing to do. You got to be good at that because
3 minutes.
either you have to be really good at being concise and telling a story within the parameters of like what people would like a song to be, which is maybe 4 minutes
Yep.
tops, which is hard to do to create a narrative that speaks out like that. Or you just gotta not give a damn about those parameters and say, damn the torpedoes. I have something to say here, and this is a story. And
Hmm.
a lot of the great storytelling songwriters, yeah, they are committed to the actual story and the how to tell it. But I have struggled with that. Not to say that I can't do it or that I haven't ever done it sort of successfully, but typically my songs are sort of songs about love or lost love or just feelings. I mean, you're telling a story with those songs too,
Right.
but it's not like some cowboy ballad, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Those are the when I think of songs, I think of stuff like that definitely has a narrative. You gotta have a protagonist, you follow him or her through the beginning, middle, end of the whole thing, you know?
We definitely
Um,
have some of that vibe though in your catalog for sure.
there's some. There's some, but but it's just, um, it's I'm able to do it. Don't get me wrong. I've been able to do it, and I when I actually pull it off, I'm very happy because I do struggle with that part of just like condensing a song, the storytelling song, into the amount of time
Yeah.
because people will lose interest pretty quick, and you got to get to the point because you don't want to sort of belabor too much minutia with all of that.
Do you feel like you've struggled with that as a writer, like trying to get, like we talked about, less is more earlier, like getting the story in within a parameter that you're comfortable with?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I really, I don't know. I don't live and die by this, but I do try to write songs that are. If I said it didn't matter to me, I would be lying. I do try to write songs that live in the area of 3.5 to 4 minutes, because folks such as yourself who would play it on the radio, they appreciate that. They like,
Hmm.
most radio formats. That's what they want. It doesn't matter every single time, but if you're not thinking about that at all, then you're probably doing yourself a disservice, I think. Because I appreciate everything that radio's done for us, and I appreciate the people who play our songs on the radio. And if it matters to them at all, then it does matter to me some.